Hello tankers, this is NK33 and I apologize for the long delay between videos, but unfortunately during a backup my computer hard drive decided to eat itself, which meant all the programs were lost and all of my replay files were lost, so it took me a while to rebuild. In this case, what we're talking about in terms of replays is doing what you have to do to win the game. And I'm not talking about cheating. I'm talking about don't make the assumption that a particular tank has to have a particular role. And the three tanks I'm going to be showing you are the FCMP Pack 40, which is a French premium tank destroyer. It's no longer available in the gift shop, but it was a very good tank destroyer. The Su-122 44, which is also a premium tank destroyer, Russian, Tier 7, and the Type 4 Chito, Japanese Tier 6 medium. Now, the FCM has a 75 millimeter, so it's got standard penetration, but where it really shines is view range and, of course, its camouflage values. It's very stealthy, very difficult to spot tank destroyer, which is the reason it was removed. 400 meter view range is equivalent to some Tier 9 medium tanks. The Su-122 has a 122 millimeter gun, very powerful. It's also got pretty good camo, and so it's also a fairly stealthy tank destroyer. The difference is it's Tier 7 instead of Tier 4. And the last one is the Japanese medium, and that one, it's pretty typical of the Japanese mediums. It's not great, it's not terrible. Now, the first thing about doing what you have to do to win. Now, I've got two clients set up. One of them is the client that I use for making videos, and the second one is and watching replays, and the second one is the one I play the game. Now, the one I've got for doing videos includes this. These are called hit skins. Now, I've got this set up in the garage because you've got the yellow areas here, which indicate weak points. You've got where the other critical hit locations are, and it's very useful for me when I'm analyzing a video or a replay to include in a video. Was I shooting effectively at the target? Now, I don't know if you've got the hard drive space to run two clients. Frankly, this thing makes the game look kind of ugly, but for analysis it's very useful. Now, this is Soviet Tier 7 tank destroyer. It's premium. It's a pretty decent machine. It's got well-sloped front armor. Armor's fairly thick. It's got a good 122 millimeter gun. I've got mine set up with a rammer because the 122 takes a long time to reload. Vents just to increase all of the base crew skills, and a camo net. So this thing is basically a stealthy tank destroyer. It's supposed to hide in bushes and blast the heck out of targets. And if it takes some return fire, you've got fairly decent armor and you've got a fairly good supply of hit points to return. But the view range is not good, so you really need somebody else to spot for you. Now, this is not quite bat blind, but it's not great. And I've got the camo paint on. Call me a wallet warrior, that's fine. I figure this is cheaper than a movie a week, and I get a heck of a lot more fun out of it. Now, the second one is the FCMP 36 or FCM 36 Pack 40. Now, this tank destroyer is no longer available in the game because it was considered OP. I've got binocular telescopes and a camouflage net. I really haven't figured out what to put on this last slot because the rate of fire and the load time are so good. It really wouldn't get that much benefit from a gun rammer or a gun laying drive. I've got the camouflage paint. Now, thing is, it's got a base 400 meter view range, which is as good as, it's better than some Tier 9 tanks. And with the binoculars, that goes to 500. Now with the view range, you only have about 446, so the extra 54 meters goes to basically stripping away the camouflage of other tanks. And if you want an explanation of how that works, go check out my camouflage and spotting mechanics video. So this one is slow. I mean, it's not, it's got a fairly poor power to weight ratio. It's got a top speed of 24. I mean, you can outrun a TOG, but not much else. The third tank that I actually drove as part of the video is the Cheeto. And again, this one is not a great tank. I mean, it's comparable to the Sherman EZ-8. The gun's fairly good. It's a serviceable tank. I've got vents on it because, vents are cheap and it gives you a +5 bonus. So if you've got the credits and it's a closed vehicle, I can't use vents on the FCM because it's open top, but I can use it here. And in this particular case, you're looking at, probably about 150,000 credits, and you get a +5 to everything that the tank does, which is always useful. That means your view range is better, your load speed, your accuracy, etc. are all better. And the fourth video is going to be an example of somebody who needs to understand some of the mechanics. In fact, I flat out tell them what to do, and they don't do it, and they die. But the point is, know your tank, know your capabilities of your tank, and you're going to be able to do a lot better than you will if you ignore them. But don't get so tied up in what the tank is supposed to be that you ignore what the tank can do. In this particular case, with the tank destroyers, I didn't play them as a standard, hide in the bush and snipe. And in this one, I played it very much as a heavy assault tank, and I did fairly well. Now, again, here I'm top tier, find a good sniping spot, and, do a number on the enemy. That's not how it worked out, though. And yes, I did spend gold to give this thing a permanent camouflage, but I run it often enough, and since it's a stealthy tank destroyer, the camouflage paint I figured was a good investment. Now that's where I'm headed.
Let's get this show on the road.
There's a nice little hollow in the rocks. It'll give you a good hull down position if you're a small tank destroyer like this one is. And I can't quite get him, but I can be patient. I've got the camo net up. Then I can let other people light targets. That EZ-8 down there. And aha! He's showing himself. Clean miss. figure I'm just going to wait here, and then I realize the Achilles and that Easy 8 are pushing, and they really need some heavier fire support. The Easy 8's good, but it's only armed with a 76, and I got 120, so if he's going to push forward and light targets for me, I really should move up to support him. And a bit of a dirt moment, trying to losing on the heavy corner, but not doing too badly. Now we just took one of them back. Ah, he's just discovered the enemy artillery. That's always a good thing. And now we're back to being 2 behind. No, pulled one back. We still got 2 of our artillery. And I don't know why I was caught on this. But, you know, learn to drive. And we're still down by 2. But all of our heavy tanks are gone. Easy 8's doing a pretty decent job on the artillery, but he just spotted that Dicker Max, and that Dicker Max is a dangerous tank destroyer. If I hadn't gotten hung up on the rocks, I might have been able to get up here and save it, but I didn't. Now, the Dicker Max is a good tank destroyer, but I've got pretty decent sloped armor on this thing, and I've got my full hit points, so I can take a hit if I need to. So at this point, that's what I'm talking about. You do what you have to do. In this case,
enemy armor is damaged. Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Well, this thing's supposed to go hiding in a bush. It's not supposed to be used as an assault gun, but we didn't have anybody left. They've got 3 heavies. We don't really have anything that'll take them on except me. So look around the corners. They're trying to give me some advice. There he is. He hit me.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
I got him. This is a pretty decent piece of machinery. It's stealthy, it's fast, so don't get locked up in the idea that this is a tank destroyer, so you have to go hiding somewhere. You can take the fight to the enemy. Looking all around because I don't have that many friends around. And any of those heavy tanks can kill me if they take me unawares. And if I run into both of them, I'm in trouble.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
Now it's 1 against 1. I don't know what the Achilles is doing. It's finally moving up. Our artillery did the right thing and ran away. We got the Leopard trying to cap. I've got to find this heavy tank. The last place he was spotted was way back there, but I don't think that's where he is. Now the leopard's coming up to help hunt. There he is. Clean miss. Now again, I've got quite a number of hit points, so I can probably take his shot. He will not be able to take my return. He's pretty badly chewed up, so he's a one-shot. So, well, they give you hit points to use them. So, I was going to just go ahead. There he is. Now he's running away. So, can't really outrun me now. He's waiting.
Enemy is hit.
Hit him.
We've lost the truck. They killed our driver. We're covering his position, but not very well.
And I get hit by the artillery, but, you know, it was a win. Now, as you can see, it's a Tier 3 game. Teammates, standard Ruinberg situation. Now my plan is to go up here and get some sniping done. I'm not going to go charging into the town because this thing is slow. I mean, you're talking TOG slow. But it doesn't have to be fast. You can get in a good sniping position and do a lot of damage.
Let's go.
So here I am at the lightning speed of 14 miles an hour. Guys are doing pretty well, so I'm just basically running as fast as I can to keep up with the battle. Got to where I was intending to go, and do a little sniping. If the enemy will cooperate, it won't, so you go on the attack. Now at this point I checked the mini-map and realized that most of the people who had gone to the town had been wiped out. So
Enemy armor is destroyed.
we'd better cap. Now this thing isn't supposed to have to crawl clear across the battlefield and go cap something. No, that's not what it's for. It's for hiding in a bush and sniping. But that wasn't going to win us the game. Now, there's a pretty dangerous Tier 2 tank destroyer, but it's no match against a Tier 3.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
I figure I can cover what's coming down that road, but that priest showing up.
We didn't even scratch them. Enemy armor is destroyed.
And there we go. A pretty decent win. All doing what I was not expecting and hadn't fitted the tank out to do. Now this is a battle with the Cheeto. I'm not top tier, or I am top tier, but I'm not top of the board. Do what you have to do. Now in this particular case, it's not terribly fast. The gun is kind of weedy. It's not superbly armored. It's a serviceable machine, but you do what you have to do. And yes, I'm running with the mods that let you see the hit points. I've got two different setups. One for playing replays, and the other for playing the game.
Move out.
So, here we go. So as you can see on the mini-map, the artillery is moving to the corner. That shot was never going to hit. We've got some additional forces moving up to support us. Slow crawl of this thing is almost painful. Run into the rock. See all of the eyes that are showing up on the enemy. Those are the ones that have been spotted. So now the Panzer III-4 is going around, make sure we're not outflanked. Yep.
Penetration.
We got the Chafee, but that also means they know where we are. Now I've got this VK up here with me, so we head down. Now he's doing the smart thing. He's slowing down. He's going to peekaboo. Well, I didn't care. Let's take a look. They had, they'd spotted the KVs, so I figured I had the hit points. I could take one shot from whatever was down here, the KV, in this case the KV-85, and keep going. But we had momentum on our side, and so if I hit it over, if they followed me, then we had the advantage. So, take a shot, ram the KV,
Penetration.
shoot him.
The rangefinder took a hit. We can only shoot close targets. Penetration. Gotcha. One of our tracks is damaged.
Now you notice the VK is staying up there, but the ARL, and I could see that on the minimap, was following me down, and so is the T-14. So I did have backup. So this wasn't completely crazy. But I figured, let's keep the momentum of the attack.
Enemy armor is hit. We've cleared the viewports. Keep your eyes open. Critical hit. Enemy armor is destroyed.
Now they're going down the other road, so I'm going to go down this way.
Enemy is hit. Got him.
He's gone. Like I said, we were able to keep the momentum of the attack. And that was my whole point. Now it's cost me a lot of hit points, but we were pushing through. Now, I don't know what this Leopard was doing. I don't know if he was reloading or he just wasn't paying any attention. But you can see the Hellcat. He's going to just let the Hellcat go by. The problem is, if he goes by, then he's going to play havoc on all of the tanks we've got behind us, and I wasn't going to put up with that.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
So much for that. So, T-14 comes in behind, keeping up the pressure of the attack. He's on full health. And then the last one there is the other Cheeto, and he gets taken out. The point of this whole thing is, don't get tied up with what you're supposed to do. If you see something that needs to be done, you go ahead and do it. If you see a flank is falling and you're in a fast enough vehicle to get over there, it doesn't matter whether it's a heavy, a medium, or light, you can support it. If you can take a shot, get hit by something that'll let everybody else follow through, as long as it doesn't kill you, your gun's still in the game. You can be just as effective on one hit point as long as all your modules are still functioning as you can with full health. So don't worry so much about what you're supposed to do, what your tank type is supposed to do. Well, I hope that was entertaining and informative, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Now in this case we're going to be going into the game while things are going on, and I'm dead. I'm just mousing around to watch where things are going. Now this is the guy who's going to make, in my opinion, the biggest mistake. He does well, but he still makes the critical mistake. Now, the flank has collapsed and he's running away from a Ram 2, which is a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Other people are shooting at the Ram 2. And he's shooting and causing some damage, but not a huge amount. Watch the Ram 2's hit point. He's at 375 right now. This guy gets into a good hull down position. 150, 74. The guy's got 4 hit points. Okay? And he takes out the opponent. And this guy is shooting armor piercing at him. That is a stupid thing to do. If you need to cause some damage, you use a premium round, or, as I will point out in chat, use high explosive. High explosive will always cause some damage, but he wasn't. He was just firing armor piercing. And that's what I'm talking about. You need to know the capabilities of the machine and of the ammunition. The guy had, the The Ram 2 had 4 hit points left. A single HE round would have caused enough damage to kill him. Instead, he used armor piercing. The tank's armor was too strong, and he did no damage. So know the capabilities of your machine, know the capabilities of all your different types of ammunition, and do what you have to do. I mean, if spamming premium is what you need to do to win, then you go ahead and do that. A lot of people will say, oh yeah, you're a wallet warrior, or you're doing this. No, the whole point is to win. I mean, you're not cheating if you're using the mechanisms in the game to do a better job. Armor piercing punches through the armor. If you can't punch through the armor or find a weak spot legitimately, you can use premium. If you have to cause a small amount of damage, use high explosive. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video and my little bit of preaching at the end. If you like it, you can give it a like. If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe to my channel. I promise that I've got a much better and more rigorous backup system, so it won't be months before the next video comes out. So, thank you. Enjoy yourself on the battlefield, and I'll be seeing you later. Thank you. Bye.